Hey everyone, thanks for coming to this channel. I hope you and your family is sound and safe in this pandemic. Coming to the topic, so this is about my experience in Passport Seva Kendra when I applied for passport reissue. So my passport got expired in 2020, of August I guess, and it was less than 3 years since the passport date expiry. So I applied with an option of passport expired less than 3 years. So there will be two options: passport expired more than 3 years or less than 3 years. So I applied for less than 3 years, and in a normal process. There are a couple of good videos on YouTube on how to fill an application form. I think it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty easy, and some of the YouTubers have explained it really well. So I did not feel any problem in filling up that form. So I think it took 15 to 20 minutes for me to fill up that form, and everything is fine. Now again, as I said, this is about my experience Passport Seva Kendra. So what happened, I applied on 3rd of October the passport application, and I was lucky to get an appointment of a 4th of October itself, morning 9 o'clock slot. So my reporting time was 8:45, and so what I would suggest, everyone should reach before their time slot only. So 8:45 it was, so I reached at 8:40. As soon as I reached, there was a security guard at the gate who started calling about the batch timings, that people from 8:45 please come forward. So I went, he checked out my acknowledgement that you get while you are applying on the online application. So you get an acknowledgement slip as well. So I showed it, he confirmed the timing, and I went in. So here one thing I would like to suggest, and probably which I found missing from other YouTube videos, is what happens if there is a change in the information that you already have. For example, your passport expired, so during that period before, right? So if you would have got married, or if you have shifted your place, you're staying in some other cities or something, so your address would have been changed, right? So they will ask you to fill a self-declaration form. So what happened in my case, I stand up in a queue, and then when I reached to the counter, that there were 5 to 6 counters, so security guard will tell you okay which counter to go. So I went to that counter, and when my turn came, I came to know, okay, I have to fill up the self-declaration form. This is because there is a change in my information. For example, my address is changing, my marital status is changing. So I had to come back. In the same room there will be one guy who was doing a passport. I'm not sure how it is in other cities, but in Bangalore, within the same room, there was a guy who was doing a photocopy. The self-declaration form was available with him. So I filled it, and then I had to go in a queue, and then when my turn came, they verified the form. So I had attested two things in my application form. One was my old passport photocopy, front and back, as well as the Aadhaar card, which I had given as a both date of birth as well as address proof while filling an online application. So they verified it, they checked my documents original as well, and then they gave me a token number, and then they asked me to go to the next room. So next room was basically a kind of a waiting area where you can see the monitor. It was displaying okay which token number turn is going on and which counter it has to be. When my turn came, I went to that particular counter. So there was one person already in process ahead of me. It took 2 minutes, 5 minutes for him to complete, and then my turn came. So when you reach to this counter A, so now once you get the token number, they will ask you to go ahead to the different counters, as I said. Now this process will be divided in 3 counters: counter A, counter B, and counter C. So counter A is like where they will go through your online application. They will confirm some of the details. They will check your document again, and they will take your fingerprint. They will take your photograph also. And one more thing, which was again I found missing, not sure why from the other YouTube video, is during the discussion, the person or the representative from on the other side, he asked me whether I want to opt for a passport holder. So I think this is the one thing which is being provided by them, a passport holder. There were two qualities, none of them was shown to me, but it was told like one is for 400, one is for 500 rupees. I think 500, and there were some differences, like 500 was waterproof and better quality and all that. So and again the second question they asked me, like, do I want to opt for a SMS service? So though I had opted for the SMS service while filling an online application, they do not charge you at that time, but when you are going for this verification in Passport Seva Kendra, they will ask you again, and if you say okay, then you will be charged for that service. So 50 rupees plus 400 or 500 depending on with which passport holder you want to go ahead. So I applied, I took the 500 rupees, but I don't know why when I was done with that counter, I probably was feeling, bit kind of regret, like, okay, I should have checked online, or I should have said no and then come outside and check for the online passports and all that, a passport holder. So anyways, all those things are done. Then I was asked to go to the counter B. On counter B, again, it's kind of the same process. You will be seeing a display where it will show, okay, now your token is coming to this counter B. And for each and every counter during the process, right? So starting from counter A to counter C, it will like A1 to A20, B1 to B6, and C1 to C5, C10, or whatever it is. Then what happens at counter B, there was one person ahead of me again, and I saw like he was again sent back to the counter A because there was some discrepancy between the online application or the address that he was applying for, and he was not staying on that address. So there was some kind of discrepancy, because of which the representative, which are probably the authorities right now, the previous counters like counter A and the first counter that we had encountered, those are the TCS employees. They were very friendly, they were very good in behavior throughout the process, from the first place to the counter C. Everyone was very good. So coming back, that person had to go back to get some self-declaration form. Then my turn came. The person validated the document, the online application, cross-checked it, saw my Aadhaar card and passport if required, and then that is done. Then they asked me to go to the counter C. Again, you can refer the same monitor, and you would come to know, okay, now which counter C you have to go. At counter C, when I went, I think that was the final step. Yeah, so that was the final step, and they were the higher authorities than the previous two authorities that we met over counter A and B. And they finally checked an application, cross-referenced again with the document, and then they put a stamp on the old passport saying it has been cancelled and we are good to go for the new passport if everything goes fine. And yeah, that is all. With that, the entire passport process is done. For me, starting from entering the Passport Seva Kendra to coming out, I think it took just 40 to 45 minutes. That's all much. I was thinking, okay, probably it might take 2 hours or so, but that was not the case. And yeah, I was expecting some physical acknowledgement, because that's what I had heard on the other YouTube videos, but that was not the case. They told me you will get a message as well as the email confirmation. So I received both. And yeah, then I came out. They also asked to fill up the feedback form, which I filled, and because my experience was good, so I think that is all. So there are a couple of things. There is no there is nothing to bother. There is no scarcity, or there is no uncomfortable things for me. If you have all the proper documents, correct details, everything would go fine. In my case, I had just submitted 2 documents along with the self-declaration, the old passport copy, the other form which they only give, and my Aadhaar card copy. But I had taken other copies as well. For example, my PAN card copy, my birth certificate copy, my address proof copies like gas connection bills, in case if they ask me for how long I was staying. So I was carrying like past 2 years, 3 sample bills, and that is all. So I would suggest a couple of things: reach ahead of time, have all the documents properly ready, get that self-declaration form in case of any change, and keep your documentation ready in case they ask, and everything will go smooth. So there is no need of an agent, there is no need of any other questions or doubt. If you have all the documents ready, everything will go smooth and you will be done very quickly. That is all, guys. I hope you would like this podcast or video, whatever you like to call it. I'm very new to this, so please do share your feedback if you find this helpful. Any comments, please like, share and subscribe, and all the very best. Thank you.